know that this is your day because it's such a beautiful weather and it's such a unique show. I know that many of you know Naysan personally, and this is a very special day for us because it's a very intense collaboration, I would say. As you can see throughout the house, you can see photography that documented in such a beautiful way the process that is involved in the whole in pottery, wood fire pottery. And it's a very unique process, it's a very time-consuming process, and I think that the beauty was, it's really captured through those images. And I would like to introduce our artists, Naysan McIlhargey and Jelana. They are in Miami Valley Pottery team, and also Vicky Rowley and Tom Haiti from Iteran Studio. And I would like you to say a couple words about this show.
Thank you everyone for coming. What I wanted to do was talk about the process, basically. The process of wood firing, making the pots, and the process of putting the show together in this wonderful house. The pots and the photographs, I think, really stand out more because of the house. And it's a great opportunity for everybody to walk through the house and to see the glory of Frank Lloyd Wright's Westcott House. Okay. So what we decided when we were putting the show together was to, with the photographs, was to document the process. And each of the rooms upstairs has one step of the process. And Tom and Vicky came to the pottery for about close to a year and documented each step of the process. So if you go upstairs, in each of the bedrooms, there's throwing in one room, there's firing in another room, decorating in one of the kids' rooms, and loading and unloading in the other room. And what we were hoping was that you'd be able to see the intensity of the firing because it's such a dramatic process, but also sort of the work involved in the rest of the process. Typically, I work alone in the studio. I am alone for 2 months, and I have time every day to go out and make the pots that I want to make. And for this show, I was able to make pots that I thought would look good in the house. And it's a little different from what maybe I normally make. Some of them, I made a lot of bottles and exaggerated shapes. But after the making of the pots, which typically takes about 2 months, the process then goes to decorating. My wife Jelana helps me with that. And then after all the pots are glazed and decorated, then we go to loading. Now the loading, and if you have one of the brochures, the loading process, I give myself 10 days to load the kiln. And that's all day long, carrying boards of pots out to the kiln. And stacking the pots in the kiln, it's like a puzzle. Every single pot has a place in the kiln, and we don't know what it's going to look like because of the nature of the firing. But certain glazes and certain clays can work in different parts of the kiln. Then after the 10 days, all the pots are in the kiln, loaded. Then we brick up the doors and start the firing. We typically start on a Tuesday. We do preheat for about 3.5 days. And then the real part of the firing, the intense part of the firing, happens where we raise the temperature about 100 degrees an hour. And this is where I get to talk about the firing crew. Many of you saw the picture in front of the firing place, the fireplace. I really wanted to sort of commemorate and talk about the people who help with the firing. The process cannot happen without the labor of the firing. It can involve as many as 40 people from start to finish just in the firing process, whether it's moving wood, putting wood in the kiln, helping with food, and even loading and unloading. So hopefully those photos really document the firing process and sort of get an idea of what's involved day and night, shifts of people working in firing the kiln. After the firing, we let it cool, and the firing goes up to 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason it goes that, we have to go that high, is to melt all of the ash that's resting on the pot. And that's what gives you the coloration of the pot. Most of the pots that you see in the house don't have any glaze on them on the outside. So all the coloration comes from the wood ash in the kiln. Not all, but a lot of them. The blue pots obviously have glaze on them. So then when the pots are all fired, we let the kiln cool, we seal it all up. 5 days later, we start unbricking the door, sweeping out the kiln. The temperature is usually around 200 degrees when we can get into it, so we sweat a little bit. We bring all the pots out. So it takes several days even to do that. I usually give myself 5 days to 7 days to unload the kiln, clean the pots, and get them ready for our sale. But what I really want to emphasize is the photographs are incredible. I mean, they did a very good job of documenting all of the steps of the process, and we together worked for weeks. I mean, really, every month, Solana says, trying to figure out how to narrow down the pictures. They had hundreds of photographs for me to choose from, and which ones to blow up and which ones to set in each of the rooms. So I just wanted to talk about that and really emphasize the firing crew and all the work that's involved and all the support that we get because it's so labor intensive. A lot of people volunteer their time, and we really wanted to emphasize that tonight because it's their show also. Okay?